What's up, guys? It's Midsalting back with another Outriders video. This time I'm just going to really quickly look at the brand new update that just came out, that the developers posted the patch notes on Reddit. It came out 6:10, so literally just released, and it did some balancing. I specifically want to look at the balancing, so that's what I'm going to talk about. If you don't already know and can't already see, on my screen here, they released an appreciation package that gave us a legendary God rolled weapon, a frustration emote, and a bunch of titanium, which, I mean, is kind of terrible, but moving on from that. And then they also did some balancing, some damage reduction mechanics that they're looking into supposedly, and then they talked about their next patch release. So I'm just going to focus on the balancing for now for this video, and we're going to talk about kind of what they did, what was good about it, and what they need to do moving forward. Okay, so here it is, the balancing notes. So the first thing they did was add health on armor. Now, it says health on armor, and it says the health available on armor pieces has been increased greatly and rebalanced. It is now possible to effectively double character health by using certain gear pieces. So the way I read that, and a bunch of other people I talked to at first, we kind of all interpreted that as if we had armor, we also got health from like the gear that we were wearing, as if they were just instantly making it so health was like part of armor, if that makes sense. Which sounded kind of cool because that would add a lot to survivability, but it turns out it's when you have 3 attributes on a piece of armor and it says max health, they made the number that you can upgrade it to higher. So if you use max health on your armor, which no one on the entire planet does, then that's good, but since no one on the entire planet does, it's pretty much useless. Moving on from that, specifically for the Devastator, as far as buffs go, we got Reflect Bullets. Now, this is actually good. I think this is pretty much what everybody's going to use on Devastator now. They made it so Reflect Bullets base damage has been increased by 250%, which is like a lot. And the base damage dealt by the Bullet Acceleration mod has been increased by 330%. So, Reflect Bullets is really good now. You can pretty much block everything. My friend who played his dev today was doing Eye of the Storm with me, and he was blocking the crawlers thing that they shoot across the ground. They're like Dugtrio dig thing that I call it. And you can like send it back at them. So you can just absorb all damage and send massive damage back at them. And it's actually useful now because it actually does some serious damage. So that's pretty good. Impale, the HP regen granted by the Impale skill has been increased by 50%. The range of the Vlad's Grasp mod has been increased to 100%. So, I mean, you know, not crazy, but you get some more health and all that stuff. So, it's good. It's fine. They're just trying to get people to use skills that we aren't using, basically. So, but I mean, there's a reason that these are meta and other things aren't. Phaser Beam on the Pyromancer. The base damage has been increased by 100%, so it does a lot more damage, and the SPF has been set to 2.1. So that controls how much of the Phaser Beam skill benefits from the status power attribute. So if you have your status power on your armor upgraded all the way, Phaser Beam, the amount that it's affected by it goes up by a lot more. Now this is cool that the damage is higher, and it makes Phaser Beam better, obviously, but I think the biggest problem with Phaser Beam is, like many other things in the game, you basically have to stand still to use it, and it's ruined by the fact that expeditions are time trials. Once again, looping back to what's been a problem since the game came out, expeditions being time trials pretty much makes everything but fast DPS useless, and that is why Phaser Beam will still not be used, because it's just not good enough and fast enough to be viable in any situation. Volcanic Armor mod's damage reduction has been increased to 65% for both anomaly and physical damage. That's cool. Moving on to Technomancer. So Technomancer, again, everybody uses some combination of Cold Snap, Blighted Rounds, Blighted Turret, maybe Cryo Turret, maybe Scrap Grenade. So they're trying to get people to use other things. As you can see, we have Tool of Destruction. The RPG has had its base damage increase, so the RPG does more damage now, and its damage fall off is reduced, minimum range increased by 50%. So basically, you can now shoot the RPG farther and do more damage with it. The base damage dealt by the Demolition Man mod has been increased to 65, so you can really like beef it up. again, just like the phaser beam with the pyro, it's slow. It doesn't take out a lot of enemies at once, and it kind of leaves you vulnerable. And in timed expeditions, it ends up being kind of pointless. Fixing Wave, the healing provided by Fixing Wave has been increased to 65%. Cold Snap, armor reduction dealt by the Frostbite mod has increased to 100. The base damage dealt by the Ice Ice Baby mod has been increased by 300. Freeze Tire, the duration of Freeze Tire has been increased. These are all good things. Again, not really going to shift the meta. Not really going to change anything too crazy. It just makes these abilities a little bit better if you use them. That's pretty much it there. Trickster, Borrowed Time, the base damage dealt by the Aggressive Teleportation mod has been increased to 111%, so that's good. Hunt the Prey, the base damage dealt by the Backstabber mod has been increased by 100%. Again, really good. The base damage dealt by the Strong Slice mod has been increased by 71% on Temporal Slice. So I've never played Trickster in my life, so I don't know a lot about it, but I know you basically just use the teleport mod, Twisted Rounds, and people use a third mod of basically whatever they feel like using for the most part. I've seen a lot of people use a lot of different things. But as far as the Trickster goes, I think that kind of opens up a few options at least. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough for the Temporal Slice. But anyway, I think this doesn't really change the meta for any character, and it doesn't really do enough to make a lot of the diversity that we need with builds and characters in this game. That's something that's really important. Getting past the fact that we need dedicated servers, which are probably never going to happen. We also need a better drop rate for loot. And then I think, personally, to me, way more than the actual skills of classes that they are buffing like this, I think they need to buff mods. There are, I don't even know how many, what are there, like a couple hundred mods in the game? And each class basically has somewhere between like 5 to 15 that are even mildly useful, and every single other one is completely useless and no one touches it. So let's buff some mods and give us some options. And speaking of those mods, what about the legendary gear? So there's only certain legendary sets that everyone looks for on each class. Some classes, people don't even look for legendary sets. They just look for the mods from the legendary sets. So why not make these legendary sets actually useful? Let's make them unique. Give them abilities that nothing else has. So there's a reason to farm for 1,500 hours to get Nugaki Cal. Make it so you can add a third mod. Make it so you can add a fourth attribute. Make it so you can change the attributes. Make it so you can do something cool with legendaries. And then as far as legendary weapons goes, here's there are, I think, 46 legendary weapons in the game. Here's the entire list of legendaries that are worth using. Death Shield, a Nimoy, Funeral Pyre. That's it. That's the whole list. There's 3 legendary weapons that are worth using. Nothing else is worth it in the entire game. If you can't get an Earthborn for assault rifles, which is something that you purchase, you can use the Inferno Seed, so there's an argument to be made there, but it's not nearly as good. It's not even close. So that's a problem. Like, we should be able to use all of these guns. And then this is something that I talk about often on my stream, is like all of these anomaly builds, we do this thing where we all put Moaning Winds. That's the meta. We all put Moaning Winds on our guns. We keep them unloaded with no reload so that we can constantly switch weapons and use Moaning Winds, which is fine. And it's fine that everyone does that, and it's fine that that's the meta. But when I think about it, that mod was most likely put in the game as like just an extra thing, like when you're shooting someone and then you reload, oh, there's a guy behind me, so my Moaning Winds just killed him. But that's our primary tool to deal damage. That's a problem. That's an issue. That's bad. Like it is fun sometimes to use Moaning Winds, but like if you're running an anomaly build, you should still be able to shoot people and actually do damage. You should not have to just constantly switch weapons over and over again just to be able to do damage. Like, the fact that the only way you can do damage with a gun is if you have blighted, volcanic, or twisted rounds, it blows my mind. Like, those bullet abilities should make your gun, like, crazy OP. they should not be required to make your gun do damage. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't get it. I feel like I'm on another planet when I think about it, because like everyone just goes, oh, we got to get the Anemoy so that you can get Moaning Winds, and then you can just put it on all your guns and switch weapons constantly to deal damage. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I think about it and I'm like, that's why do we have to play like this? Like, that is not a balanced game. Like, you should be able to shoot things and have them die. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but you tell me what you think. Anyway, those are the kind of things, like buffing more mods, buffing legendary items, all that stuff that need to come out quick. Like, we need this ASAP. This game is going down in a hurry, and something like that is what's going to save it, because it's going to make it a lot more of a fun experience for everyone. This was a good update. It wasn't a great update. I think their idea of trying to expand and diversify the build usage is good, and I like where they're headed, but quite frankly, it's just too late for them to be headed in the right direction. They need to be in the right direction right now. Like, they have to do it. They absolutely have to, or this game is like, it's going to be done. It's going to be donezo. So, anyway, all right. I'm sorry for ranting a little bit, but that's going to be the end of this video. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you got some information out of it. I hope I got you thinking about it a little bit in the whole Moaning Winds conversation and all that kind of stuff. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you have any thoughts on the update or what you think. Maybe you think some of these buffs make new builds the meta for any of these classes. Let me know if you think that. Let me know what you think about what I said about the mods and the legendaries and stuff. If you agree or disagree, please keep it civil and just have a conversation with me about it. I post videos on YouTube every single day. I also stream on Twitch every single day at twitch.tv/midsofting. I would absolutely love if you would join me for either of those. Please like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. So have a good day.